This audiobook is The Awakening Codex, a guide that reveals the ancient truth that reality responds to resonance, not chance. As you listen, you'll remember the power you've always carried, the power to shape your world through the frequency you hold. This is your moment of awakening. The Awakening Codex. Introduction. Before time shaped kingdoms or carved stories into stone, the ancient sages guarded a truth that governed every breath they took. The universe responds not to chance, but to resonance. Every thought, every emotion, every intention sends out a tone, and reality rearranges itself according to the silent music you broadcast. Like calls to like, energy summons its mirror. Creation unfolds through the vibration you hold. This forgotten wisdom lives within you even now. It lingers in the quiet intervals between your thoughts, in that sacred space where intention touches possibility. Though the world may have taught you to doubt your power, you have always been the author of your experience. The script of your life has never been written by circumstance, but by the frequency you emit. The law of attraction is not a concept to memorize. It is a living force that flows through you as naturally as breath. Each moment, you send signals into the boundless field of potential, and that field responds with perfect precision. Your thoughts are not spectators. They are architects shaping what is yet unseen. Your emotions are not reactions. They are messages, broadcasting your desires or your fears into the fabric of existence. You are never separated from what you want. There is only a resonance waiting to be matched. The journey ahead is not about seeking new knowledge, but remembering what your soul has always known. You are a conscious creator in a universe that listens. As you enter the Awakening Codex, you will discover that manifestation is not force, but alignment. These teachings illuminate your path back to the ancient art of energetic harmony. What lies before you is not information, but transformation. A return to the power that has forever lived within you. Before we get into the book, comment, "I am ready," to affirm your intention to the universe. Part 1. The Awakening Path. Chapter 1. The Whisper Behind Thoughts. In a small village where morning mists painted the world in gentle hues, Mabel opened her eyes to a dawn that seemed to dwarf her hopes. Her dreams, precious yet seemingly insubstantial, rested like dormant seeds in the soil of her heart. The vastness of the sky above her window whispered of infinite possibilities, yet she felt adrift in its expanse. But the universe responds not to size, but to signal. As Mabel moved through her morning, something stirred within her, an ancient knowing awakening from slumber. Her thoughts, she discovered, were not mere wishes cast into the void. They were architects drawing blueprints in the fabric of existence itself. Each hope she harbored was already taking shape in the invisible realm where all manifestation begins. By the flowing waters of time, Oliver sat with stones in his palm. Each pebble he cast into the creek carried the weight of his frustration, the echo of "why not yet" rippling across the surface. The water, mirror-like in its wisdom, showed him what he had failed to see, that his doubts were seeds too, sprouting precisely what he feared most. His wishes remained distant because his heart spoke the language of lack rather than abundance. In that moment of clarity, both Mabel and Oliver touched the same timeless truth. The universe does not respond to pleas, but to certainty. When thought rises from the heart clothed in the rich garments of emotional conviction, creation moves instantly to match its vibration. It is not the asking that brings forth manifestation, but the knowing. Now, as these words find their way to your consciousness, let them guide you to this sacred practice. Close your eyes and bring forth your heart's next desire. See it not as a distant star, but as a light already burning within your chest. With each breath, let this radiance expand, filling every cell with its golden warmth. Feel how the certainty of its existence becomes more real than any temporary circumstance. For in this space of knowing, you are not hoping for change, you are becoming the change itself. This is the ancient art of transformation, where thought married to feeling becomes the very substance of reality. Chapter 2. The Mirror of Frequency. In the heart of an ancient village, Beatrice stood before a tarnished mirror, its silver-backed glass weathered by time. Each morning she would gaze at her reflection, seeing only the limitations of her small-town existence. Her dreams felt too vast for such a humble setting, until the day she understood the profound truth the mirror had been teaching all along. The mirror was not a window into limitation, but a cosmic instrument reflecting back the very essence of her beliefs. Each crack in its surface showed not imperfection, but the fractured nature of her own self-image. As this wisdom dawned, Beatrice began to witness how every surface in her world, from shop windows to still ponds, served as faithful mirrors of her inner state. The universe operates as an infinite reflection, perpetually showing you what you hold as truth within. When you walk through life expecting closed doors, the world arranges itself to manifest those very barriers. Yet when you move with the quiet confidence of one who knows their divine nature, reality transforms to match this elevated frequency. Consider Harold, whose hands bore the marks of decades fixing engines in his small garage. While others saw mundane labor, he transformed each turn of the wrench into a sacred affirmation. "I am blessed to create," he would whisper while rebuilding transmissions. "Through these hands flows abundance," became his mantra as he restored old cars to glory. Soon his simple garage expanded into a thriving business, not because he chased success, but because he aligned himself with the frequency of abundance. His story teaches that prosperity doesn't require grand gestures or perfect circumstances. It flows naturally when your inner vibration harmonizes with the abundance that already exists. Harold never left his garage. He simply changed the energy he brought to it. The universe's mirror reflects with perfect precision. Emit gratitude, and life presents endless reasons to be thankful. Broadcast scarcity, and circumstances arrange to validate that lack. This is not punishment or reward, but the impersonal operation of cosmic law. Ancient practice. As you move through your own reflections today, speak softly to the mirror of your life with kindness and assurance, and watch as existence reshapes itself to match your tone. Stand before any reflective surface and whisper words of power. "I am worthy of all I desire. The universe delights in my joy." Let these words ripple through the fabric of your day, knowing that all of creation conspires to reflect this truth back to you. Chapter 3. The River of Allowing. In the realm of manifestation, force and effort often stand as barriers between you and your desires. This truth reveals itself through the tale of Clara, whose muscles ached from pushing against the current of life. Each morning she would rise before dawn, arming herself with lists and plans, believing that through sheer determination she could bend reality to her will. Yet the more she strained, the more life seemed to resist her grasp. The universe operates not through force, but through frequency. Like a gentle stream finding its natural course, creation flows most freely when you release your grip on how things must unfold. Clara's transformation began the moment she noticed how flowers bloom without struggle, how birds soar without analyzing the wind. In her surrender to this wisdom, she discovered that allowing is not passive resignation, but active alignment with universal flow. When you release the need to control every detail, you open yourself to possibilities beyond your limited perspective. The law of attraction responds not to your strain, but to your state. This principle manifested clearly in Walter's journey with his art. His brushstrokes had become rigid, each painting an exercise in frustration as he attempted to force inspiration onto canvas. His breakthrough arose not from trying harder, but from stepping back. One evening, as the sun painted the sky in hues he had been struggling to capture, Walter set aside his brush. He allowed himself to simply witness the beauty before him, to feel the joy of color without the pressure to reproduce it. In that moment of release, something shifted. When he returned to his easel, his hand moved with a freedom he had forgotten. The paintings that emerged carried not just pigment, but light itself. This wisdom extends into every aspect of creation. The universe does not require your strain, but your alignment. When you soften your grip on outcomes, you allow the natural intelligence of life to work through you. Like water finding its path between stones, your desires know the way to manifestation when you cease to obstruct their flow with doubt and force. Consider how a flower opens, not through effort, but through natural unfolding. Your creations wish to blossom in the same way. The law of attraction operates with greatest power when you align with this organic process of becoming. Ancient practice for allowing. Find a quiet space where you can be undisturbed. Settle into a comfortable position and bring your attention to your breath. Allow your breathing to find its natural rhythm, like water flowing over smooth stones. With each inhale, receive the energy of trust. With each exhale, release the need to control. Let your breath become a conversation with the universe, each cycle an affirmation that you are ready to receive. Maintain this practice for several minutes, feeling how allowing creates space for manifestation. This simple yet powerful ritual, passed down through generations of wisdom seekers, opens the channels through which your desires naturally flow. Chapter 4. The Language of Emotion. In an ancient village nestled among mist-shrouded mountains lived Dorothy, a healer known for her gentle smile and soothing words. Yet beneath her carefully crafted positivity, fear coursed through her veins like a hidden river. Each morning, she would recite affirmations of abundance and healing, while her heart trembled with doubt about her abilities. One day, as she tended to a young child with fever, the truth of vibrational alignment revealed itself. Despite her positive declarations, the child remained restless, sensing the discord between Dorothy's words and her inner state. It was then she understood. The universe responds not to the syllables we speak, but to the silent language of our emotions. The law of attraction operates through feeling, for feeling is the pure language of creation. Your emotions serve as an internal guidance system, a sacred compass pointing toward alignment with your desires. When you experience joy, excitement, or peace, you are in harmony with your true path. When anxiety, fear, or doubt arise, they signal thoughts that have wandered from your inner truth. The power lies not in masking these emotions, but in recognizing them as messengers. Each feeling offers guidance, showing where attention must flow to restore alignment. Like a river finding its natural course, emotions guide you back to your authentic frequency. In another part of the village lived Eugene, a gardener whose connection to the land taught him this very truth. His garden struggled until he learned to attune himself to the subtle emotional currents flowing between him and his plants. He discovered that his crops responded not just to water and sunlight, but to the quality of attention he gave them. When Eugene approached his garden with worry about the harvest, the plants seemed to withdraw their vitality. But when he learned to appreciate their growth before the fruits appeared, celebrating their potential in the present moment, nature responded in kind. His harvests doubled, not through additional labor, but through emotional resonance. Your feelings are not obstacles to manifestation. They are the very substance from which manifestation springs. The universe understands the language of your heart with perfect clarity. When you allow yourself to feel authentically, you open the channel through which your desires can flow into form. Practice. Close your eyes and sense gratitude as a living current rising through your chest. Let it flow naturally without forcing or pretending. Feel how this current changes your inner state, how it shifts your entire vibration. This is your natural prayer language, pure, honest, and clear. Practice this whenever you wish to align with the frequency of what you seek to create. Chapter 5. The Gravity of Belief. In the winding streets of a bustling marketplace, Hattie clutched her worn leather purse, counting coins with trembling fingers. Though her lips spoke of abundance, her heart whispered warnings of lack. Each morning she would gaze at the elegant shops, dreaming of silk dresses and golden trinkets, yet beneath these wishes lay a deep-rooted suspicion that wealth would forever elude her grasp. The universe speaks not through the words we proclaim, but through the silent language of our deepest convictions. Like a magnet whose force cannot be seen yet undeniably moves the physical world, your beliefs shape the invisible currents that draw experiences toward or away from you. This truth echoes through the ages. What you genuinely believe becomes the gravity that pulls your reality into form. When you proclaim prosperity while harboring doubt, you create a split frequency that cancels itself. The universe responds not to your hopeful declarations, but to the underlying vibration of mistrust. This is why some speak of abundance, yet walk in scarcity. Their inner dialogue contradicts their outer affirmations. Consider Percy, who set up his modest lemonade stand at the corner of Maple Street. While others saw merely cups of citrus and sugar, Percy knew he offered something far more precious: liquid sunshine, joy by the glassful. His eyes sparkled with unshakable certainty as he arranged his cups each morning. He didn't just believe in his product, he believed in the magic of sharing happiness. Soon, people began detouring from their usual paths just to visit Percy's stand. They spoke of how his lemonade tasted different, special somehow, but it wasn't the recipe that had changed, It was the energy of absolute conviction that infused every glass. His unwavering belief transformed a simple beverage into an experience of delight, and the universe responded by drawing more and more customers into his orbit. This mirrors the ancient wisdom. Your beliefs are like seeds planted in the fertile soil of universal energy. What you nurture with genuine trust will inevitably bloom into physical form. Those who manifest with ease are not more fortunate. They have simply aligned their inner convictions with their desires. The law of attraction operates through this subtle mechanism of belief. When doubt lurks beneath your wishes, it acts as a repelling force, pushing away the very things you seek to attract. But when trust becomes your natural state, you create a magnetic field that draws your desires toward you with the same certainty that brings dawn after night. Sacred practice. Each morning as the sun rises, sit in quietude and whisper to your beliefs as you would to cherished friends. Say, "I trust in the abundance that flows through all things. I am worthy of receiving. I believe in the generosity of life." Let these words sink below thought into feeling. Practice this until your beliefs respond with the loyalty of old companions, and observe as your outer world begins to mirror your inner certainty. Chapter 6. The Art of Receiving. In the quiet chambers of existence, a profound truth awaits recognition. The art of receiving shapes the flow of all abundance. As you journey deeper into the mysteries of manifestation, understand that your capacity to accept determines your ability to attract. Long ago, June, a weaver of exceptional skill, spent her days creating tapestries of breathtaking beauty. Yet when others praised her work, she would wave away their words, believing humility meant denying her gifts. "It is nothing," she would say, or "anyone could do the same." With each deflection, she unknowingly wove a barrier between herself and the universe's offering. The law of attraction operates through the gateway of acceptance. When you close yourself to small blessings, you signal to the universe that you are not ready for greater ones. Like a stream that cannot flow through a blocked channel, abundance cannot manifest through a closed heart. Your relationship with receiving mirrors your relationship with worthiness. Each time you diminish a compliment, reject assistance, or brush aside good fortune, you tighten the knot that restricts your flow of abundance. The universe speaks first in whispers. A kind word, a helpful gesture, a moment of unexpected beauty. These are the seeds of greater manifestations. Frederick, a skilled craftsman, always prided himself on self-reliance. When his neighbor offered to help paint his porch, his first instinct was to decline. But something within him shifted, and he heard himself say, "Yes." That simple acceptance created a ripple in the fabric of his reality. The next day, the job opportunity he had long desired materialized, a position that required both his craftsmanship and his ability to work with others. The wisdom lies in recognizing that receiving is not passive but active. It requires the courage to stand in your worthiness and allow good to flow toward you. Every accepted compliment, every graciously received gesture strengthens your magnetic field of attraction. Your beliefs about receiving become the gravity that either draws or repels abundance. When you trust that you are worthy of life's gifts, both small and large, you align with the natural flow of universal energy. Sacred practice, the gate of acceptance. As the sun rises tomorrow, carry this ancient practice through your day. When any form of good approaches, be it a smile, a helping hand, or a moment of grace, resist the urge to deflect. Instead, breathe deeply and silently say yes. Feel the warmth of acceptance in your heart. Let each small yes become a note in the symphony of abundance. This is not merely an exercise, but a remembrance of your natural state, one of open receptivity to life's infinite gifts. With each acceptance, you strengthen the bridge between intention and manifestation, between desire and fulfillment. You need not speak your gratitude aloud, though you may if you wish. The power lies in the internal acknowledgement, the subtle shift from resistance to receptivity. Watch as the universe responds to your newfound openness, bringing ever greater opportunities to receive. Chapter 7. The Music of Intention. In the quiet dawn hours, Millie would hum melodies while arranging flowers in her modest shop, unaware that each note carried the vibration of her deepest desires into the fabric of creation. Her tunes, though simple, held within them seeds of possibility, yet they remained unfocused wishes rather than clear intentions. The universe responds not to the volume of our desires, but to their clarity. Like a cosmic orchestra awaiting precise direction, it requires a conductor who knows exactly what symphony they wish to create. Your thoughts are the score, your emotions the instruments, and your intention the conductor's baton that brings them into perfect harmony. When your desires lack definition, they scatter like notes carried away by the wind. But when you craft them with precision, they become a symphony that the universe cannot help but echo. This is the difference between hoping and knowing, between wishing and commanding. Consider Clyde, whose radio repair shop sat quietly for years until he discovered this truth. Each morning he began tuning his tools with deliberate care, treating every adjustment as a note in the song of success he was composing. He polished each dial and calibrated each meter with the same attention a musician gives their instrument before a grand performance. His intention was clear: to create not just a business, but a sanctuary where broken things found harmony again. Soon, his shop hummed with the energy of his focused purpose. Customers began arriving in steady streams, drawn by the resonance of his clear intention. What changed was not his skill, which had always been exceptional, but the precision of his creative frequency. This teaches us that the law of attraction responds to clarity above all else. Vague hopes produce vague results, while crystalline intention manifests precise outcomes. Your desires must ring true like a perfect note, undiluted by doubt or confusion. Ancient practice of intentional harmony. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Imagine your next desire as a piece of music waiting to be composed. Let your enthusiasm form its chorus, strong and clear. Feel the rhythm of certainty in your heartbeat. Now, for the next 7 days, spend 5 minutes each morning conducting this symphony of intention. See your desire manifesting with the same precision as notes arranged on a musical score. Let each breath strengthen the melody until your whole being vibrates with its truth. The universe awaits your signal. Make it clear, make it precise, and watch as reality arranges itself to match your song. Chapter 8. The Field of Gratitude. In the quiet of dawn, Elsie sat at her worn kitchen table, marking crosses beside each unpaid invoice. Her shoulders bore the weight of scarcity, each mark another reminder of what was missing. Yet in that moment of deepest darkness, A truth stirred within her heart, one that would transform her relationship with abundance forever. The universe speaks in the language of energy, and gratitude is its most powerful dialect. When you express genuine appreciation, you activate an electromagnetic force that draws more reasons to be thankful toward you. This is not mere wishful thinking, but a fundamental law, as reliable as gravity itself. Just as a magnet doesn't strain to attract metal, gratitude effortlessly pulls abundance into your experience. Each thank you creates a resonance that the universe must answer, for it is the nature of life to expand toward appreciation. Your thankful heart becomes a beacon that guides prosperity home. Franklin discovered this truth in the depths of financial struggle. One evening, looking at the stack of unpaid bills on his desk, he chose a different response. Instead of cursing their presence, he began to thank each one. "Thank you for the electricity that lights my home," he whispered to the utility bill. "Thank you for the water that nourishes my garden," he said to another. Within days, an unexpected inheritance arrived, just enough to clear his debts. This was no coincidence. When you shift your attention from what's missing to what's present, you alter the magnetic field of your life. Abundance flows not to those who need it most, but to those who appreciate it most. Every moment of gratitude sends ripples through the fabric of creation, returning to you multiplied. The truth stands unveiled before you now. Gratitude is not the result of abundance. It is the cause. Each thank you is a seed that blooms into more reasons for thanksgiving. The universe cannot help but respond to authentic appreciation, for that is the very frequency of its own nature. Ancient practice. As darkness settles tonight, sit in stillness and count your blessings. Begin with the smallest gifts, the warmth of sunlight on your face, the melody of bird song, the taste of fresh water. Let each thank you rise from your heart like incense. Continue until you feel the air grow thick with abundance, until your gratitude becomes a tangible force humming in your chest. This is the frequency that transforms realities. This is the key that unlocks the storehouse of universal plenty. Chapter 9. The Light of Visualization. In the shadow-filled valleys between ancient mountains there lived a woman named Sadie, who saw the world only in shades of gray. Each morning she opened her eyes to muted tones, where even the sunrise seemed to have lost its glow. Yet within her stirred a knowing that her inner sight held the key to transformation. Through whispers carried on the wind, she discovered that visualization was not mere fantasy, but a sacred tool of creation. As she began to paint her mental canvas with vivid hues of possibility, the universe responded. First came the subtle shifts, a flash of color in her garden, a sparkle in a stranger's smile. Then larger changes manifested as her inner pictures grew stronger. The law of attraction flows through the gateway of visualization. When you hold an image in your mind with unwavering clarity, you transmit that frequency into the fabric of existence. Your thoughts are not separate from reality. They are the architects of what is to come. Consider Lawrence, who lay in a hospital bed yet refused to see himself as ill. Each day he crafted detailed visions of vitality flowing through his body. He saw golden light filling each cell, felt the warmth of perfect health in his bones. The nurses would pause at his door, drawn by an inexplicable radiance that seemed to surround him. Within weeks his recovery defied all expectations. Your visualization is a blueprint that the universe follows with perfect precision. When you see your desire with the eyes of your soul, you are not imagining. You are remembering what already exists in potential form. This is why the masters teach that all creation is remembrance. As you align your inner sight with what you wish to manifest, infuse each detail with feeling. See not just the house you desire, but feel the warmth of sunlight through its windows. Envision not just prosperity, but experience the peace it brings. Your emotional connection to the vision magnifies its magnetic power. The universe responds not to the length of your visualization, but to its vibrational clarity. A moment of pure, focused seeing carries more creative force than hours of scattered imagining. Hold your vision as gently as you would cup water in your hands. Too tight, and it slips away. Too loose, and it scatters. Sacred practice. As you lay down each night, create a sanctuary of stillness around you. In this quiet space, allow your desired reality to unfold in your mind's eye with the softness of remembering a cherished memory. See it with such clarity that your heart accepts it as already accomplished. Let this vision be the last impression you carry into sleep, knowing the universe works while you rest to align reality with your inner sight. Chapter 10. The Choosing Moment. In a small coastal village, Peggy stood at her window each morning, watching ships pass on the horizon. Her heart yearned to open her own seaside shop, yet she remained frozen between possibility and action. Day after day, she crafted detailed plans only to tuck them away, believing that waiting for the perfect moment would somehow manifest her dreams. The universe speaks through the language of decision. When you hover between choices, you emit a frequency of uncertainty that creates more uncertainty in return. Like a stone cast into still water, each choice sends ripples through the fabric of existence, transforming potential into reality. Your decisions are not mere selections between options. They are commands to the universal forces that shape your experience. Peggy discovered this truth when a storm threatened her village. In that moment of crisis, she stopped weighing options and simply acted, opening her home to neighbors seeking shelter. Through this spontaneous choice, she experienced the power of decisive action. The connections formed that night later became the foundation of her business community. In the heart of the city, Ralph faced a similar crossroads. His corporate job provided security, yet his soul called him toward artistic expression. For years he painted in secret, afraid to choose between stability and passion. One morning, he finally declared his decision to pursue art fully. The moment he committed, the universe responded. A colleague introduced him to a gallery owner. A vacant studio space became available below his apartment. His first painting sold unexpectedly to a collector who commissioned more works. These stories illuminate a fundamental truth. The universe does not respond to what you wish for, but to what you choose with unwavering clarity. When you decide fully, you align your energy with the outcome you desire. Hesitation creates a fog through which your manifestations cannot clearly form. Each moment holds infinite possibilities, waiting to collapse into form through the power of your choice. The universe mirrors back the level of commitment you demonstrate. When you choose with your whole being, you transmit a clear signal that activates the law of attraction at its highest frequency. Sacred practice. The declaration of choice. Find a quiet space where you can be undisturbed. Take 3 deep breaths and bring to mind one desire that you've been hesitating to fully claim. Now stand tall and speak your choice aloud with absolute conviction, as though it has already manifested. Feel the solidity of your decision in every cell of your body. Move through your day, acting as if your choice has already solidified into reality. Notice how the universe begins to rearrange itself around your unwavering commitment. Part 2, The Alignment Bridge, chapters 11 to 20. Chapter 11, The Silence of Trust. In ancient days, there lived a young woman named Lydia who spent her mornings in fervent prayer, asking the universe for guidance and abundance. Yet no sooner would she finish her devotions than anxiety would seize her heart, causing her to question whether her requests had been heard at all. Each moment of doubt created ripples in the cosmic waters, disturbing the very manifestations she sought to attract. Through time and wisdom, Lydia discovered that true faith resembles a still pond, unwavering, untroubled by the winds of worry. The universe responds not to the intensity of asking, but to the depth of knowing. Trust, she learned, is the gentle certainty that bridges the gap between desire and manifestation. When you plant a seed of intention in the fertile soil of consciousness, constant digging to check its progress only disrupts its natural emergence. The universe operates with perfect timing, requiring neither your supervision nor your anxious attention. Your role is simply to maintain the frequency of absolute confidence. Consider the tale of Irving, a humble gardener who discovered this truth through his relationship with the earth. Each spring, he would plant his seeds with care and loving intention. Unlike his neighbors who frantically checked their soil daily, Irving simply trusted. He understood that beneath the surface, miraculous transformations occurred in their own time. His garden became renowned throughout the village, not because he tended it more diligently, but because he allowed it to flourish without interference. This sacred principle extends far beyond the realm of physical gardens. Every desire you hold is a seed planted in the infinite field of possibilities. Your thoughts water it, your emotions nourish it, but it is your trust that allows it to break through the surface of reality. The universe operates through divine timing, orchestrating countless elements to bring your manifestations into form. When you maintain unwavering faith, you create a clear channel through which abundance can flow. Each moment spent in peaceful certainty accelerates the manifestation process far more powerfully than hours of anxious prayer. Ancient practice. Find a quiet space where you can remain undisturbed. Close your eyes and breathe deeply until your mind settles like a tranquil lake. Feel the stillness expand within you. Now whisper softly to yourself, "Everything is on its way." Let this truth sink into every cell of your being. Remain in this peaceful knowing for as long as it feels natural. The calm you experience is not merely an emotion. It is the signature of success already unfolding in the quantum field. Practice this daily, allowing trust to become your natural state of being. Chapter 12, The Magnet of Joy. In the hidden valleys between mountains there lived a woman named Nora who faced each challenge with unexpected mirth. While others saw only the weight of their burdens, she discovered a truth as old as sunlight, that joy itself holds the power to reshape reality. When her small shop faced closure, instead of surrendering to worry, she filled its windows with playful displays that made passers-by smile. She greeted each customer as though they carried treasures, and soon enough they did. Her laughter became a beacon that drew precisely what she needed: new partnerships, loyal patrons, and opportunities that seemed to materialize from thin air. The universe speaks in the language of vibration, and no frequency rings more purely than authentic joy. This is not mere positive thinking, but rather an ancient alchemical practice that transforms the very substance of experience. When you align with joy, you tap into the original creative force that spun galaxies into being. Consider Douglas, whose daily rounds as a postman became a walking meditation in happiness. While others saw mundane duties, he discovered delight in every delivery, turning his route into a song. He never sought advancement, yet promotion after promotion found him, drawn by the magnetic pull of his natural exuberance. His story teaches us that the universe responds not to our requests, but to our resonance. This principle operates with mathematical precision. What you broadcast returns multiplied. Worry breeds more causes for concern, while joy attracts its mirrors. The wise ones of old understood this, encoding it in their teachings. As above, so below. As within, so without. Your emotional state is not just a response to life, but the very blueprint from which it is built. Yet, this is not about forcing false cheer or denying life's challenges. True joy runs deeper than circumstance. It is the recognition of your own creative power, the remembrance that you are one with the infinite source of all possibility. When you connect with this wellspring of delight, solutions arise effortlessly, problems dissolve before they fully form, and synchronicity becomes your constant companion. Sacred practice. Begin each morning by finding one genuine reason for joy, no matter how small. Let your smile be your first offering to the day. When challenges arise, seek the hidden invitation to delight they contain. Make laughter your meditation, and watch as the universe conspires to give you more reasons to rejoice. For in this ancient practice lies the key to transformation. What brings you joy brings you more of itself, multiplied by the power of your attention. Chapter 13. The Energy of Words. In a small mountain village, there lived a weaver named Flora who spent her days crafting beautiful tapestries while weaving words of discontent into the air. "Nothing ever works out," she would say, watching her threads tangle. "Life is such a struggle," as her patterns grew chaotic. With each complaint, her workshop grew darker, her sales fewer, until the very walls seemed to absorb her discontent. The universe speaks the language of vibration, and your words are more than mere sounds. They are the architects of your reality. Every utterance sends ripples through the fabric of creation, molding the subtle energies that shape your experience. When you speak, you are not merely describing your world. You are actively participating in its creation. Consider how a single word can alter the chemistry of your body, the rhythm of your breath, the current of your thoughts. Speak of burden, and your shoulders begin to bow. Whisper of possibility, and your spine straightens to meet it. This is not metaphor, but manifestation in its most immediate form. In the neighboring valley lived Gerald, a potter whose hands were crippled by arthritis. Yet each morning he would greet his clay with words of vitality. "These hands are growing stronger. This pain is transforming into wisdom." He spoke to his vessels as they took shape. "Beauty flows easily through me. Gradually, his fingers regained their flexibility, and his pots became renowned for their healing properties. The change began not in his joints, but in his choice of words. Your tongue is a rudder, steering the ship of your life. Each declaration is a decree, each murmur a spell being cast. The law of attraction responds not just to your thoughts and emotions, but to the vibration of your spoken word. When you alter your vocabulary, you rewrite the story of your existence. Flora discovered this truth one autumn morning when a traveling sage visited her workshop. Observing her frustration, he shared, "Your words weave more than wool, they weave your destiny." This insight struck her like lightning. She began to mindfully choose phrases of prosperity and ease. "I am aligned with abundance," replaced, "I never have enough." "Solutions flow to me naturally," became her response to challenges. Within weeks, her tapestries transformed. Colors brightened, patterns flowed with newfound harmony, and customers were drawn to the peaceful energy emanating from her creations. Her words had literally rewoven her reality. The ancient practice of sacred speaking. Find a quiet moment at sunrise or sunset. Sit with your spine straight, feet grounded to the earth. Begin by taking 3 deep breaths to clear the energy of past words. Now, speak aloud 3 statements of truth. Not what is, but what you choose to create. Let each declaration resonate in your chest before moving to the next. Feel the vibration of your voice as it shapes the field of possibility around you. Make this a daily practice, and watch as your words become the seeds of tomorrow's garden. Remember, the universe eternally whispers yes to whatever you proclaim. Speak with the authority of one who knows that reality bends to match your chosen vibration. Your voice is the instrument through which infinite potential becomes manifest form. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Power of Presence. In the stillness of dawn, a woman named Marjorie sat at her desk, calendar marked with countless future dates and plans. Her thoughts raced ahead to next week, next month, next year, each moment except the one she inhabited. Though she wrote affirmations and set intentions, her manifestations remained distant mirages, always shimmering on tomorrow's horizon. The universe speaks in the language of now. When your consciousness dwells in future moments, you scatter the concentrated power of presence that brings dreams into form. Your creative force cannot take root in the soil of tomorrow. It can only flower in the fertile ground of this instant. The present moment is not a stepping stone to your desires, but the very altar where manifestation occurs. When you fully inhabit now, time expands into an infinite field of possibility. Here, in this breath, in this heartbeat, you access the timeless space where all potential exists simultaneously. A humble dishwasher named Elwood understood this truth without studying spiritual texts. Each evening he transformed a mundane task into sacred practice. As warm water flowed over his hands, his attention rested completely in the sensations of soap and steam. He noticed the rainbow swirls in bubbles, felt the smooth curves of plates beneath his fingers. In this state of pure presence, inspiration began to pour through him like the water from the tap. Characters and scenes for his novel emerged fully formed. as if they had been waiting for his consciousness to grow still enough to receive them. The law of attraction responds not to the intensity of your desire, but to the depth of your presence. When you merge fully with now, you tap into the creative current that shapes all reality. Your attention becomes a laser beam of manifestation, cutting through the illusion of time to reveal the eternal moment where all possibilities converge. Ancient practice of now presence. Choose one simple daily activity: washing dishes, walking, drinking tea. As you perform this task, gather your scattered thoughts and bring them home to your body. Feel the weight of your feet, the movement of your breath. When your mind wanders to past or future, gently guide it back to physical sensation. Let this moment expand until it fills your entire awareness. Practice this presence daily and watch as the universe begins responding not to your plans, but to your deep attention to now. Chapter 15. The Companionship of Faith. A tale echoes through time of Ruth, who wandered the winding streets of her coastal village each evening, her footsteps marking the rhythm of her solitude. Though surrounded by the bustle of fishermen and merchants, she felt separate from the flow of life, as if watching it through a window. Yet, in those quiet moments of isolation, something stirred within her heart, a presence both ancient and new. Through the whispers of waves and wind, the universe revealed its timeless truth. Faith is not a distant force to be reached for, but an intimate companion already dwelling within. Like a flower turning toward light, Ruth began to nurture this relationship with the unseen, treating her dreams not as far-off possibilities but as friends walking beside her. The law of attraction operates through this sacred bond between your consciousness and the infinite. When you embrace faith as your constant companion, the very fabric of existence begins to shift. This is not blind hope, but rather the deep knowing that comes from recognizing your connection to the source of all creation. Consider the tale of Silas, whose nets had grown light in recent seasons. While others complained of empty waters, he sat in his boat each dawn, feeling the abundance of the sea as if it were already flowing through his hands. He spoke to the waters as a trusted friend, knowing they held what he sought. His faith was not in the fish themselves, but in the perfect order of a universe that always provides. Soon his nets began to strain with catches so abundant that other fishermen sought his secret. But Silas knew the truth. He had not changed his technique, only his relationship with possibility. He had learned to trust the unseen currents that guide all things to their rightful place. This is the subtle power that transforms mere wishing into magnetic certainty. Faith becomes the bridge between your current reality and the manifestation you seek. It is the quiet confidence that fills the space between asking and receiving. The universe responds not to desperate pleading, but to the unwavering loyalty of your belief. When you walk with faith as your companion, every step becomes a prayer, every breath an affirmation of what is already yours. Ancient practice. Settle into a quiet moment and imagine your deepest desire as a gentle presence beside you. Feel its warmth, its companionship, its absolute certainty. Let your faith embrace it as you would a beloved friend who has always been there. Whisper to this presence, "I trust in our connection. I know you are already here." Carry this feeling of companionship throughout your day, knowing that what you seek has already found you in the realm of pure potential. Chapter 16. The Still Point of Desire. In the eastern hills there lived a woman named Ivy, whose yearning burned like fire. Day and night she paced her garden, mind aflame with visions of the life she craved. Yet the more intensely she grasped at her dreams, the more they seemed to slip through her fingers like morning mist. Her desire had become a desperate song, drowning out the subtle whispers of the universe. The law of attraction operates not through force, but through allowance. When you clutch too tightly to what you seek, you create resistance in the very field meant to deliver it. Your grip becomes the barrier between you and your manifestation. Consider how a flower blooms. It neither strains nor struggles. It simply opens to receive what naturally flows toward it. This is the art of detached desire, to want with peaceful certainty rather than anxious need, to hold your intentions as gently as you would hold a butterfly, knowing that freedom facilitates flight. In the merchant district lived Norman, who had long dreamed of exploring distant lands. Unlike many before him, he learned to release his attachment to when and how his travels would manifest. He continued planning and dreaming, but with the serene confidence of one who knows that timing belongs to the universe. He released the need to force outcomes, and within weeks, opportunities for travel appeared as naturally as leaves turning in autumn. The deeper truth reveals itself. Desire serves best when held in balance. Too much attachment creates spiritual static that interferes with the universe's response. Too little engagement fails to activate the creative force within you. The sweet spot lies in between, in wanting with peaceful passion, in moving forward with relaxed purpose. Your desires are seeds planted in cosmic soil. They require your attention, but not your anxiety, your faith, but not your force. When you find yourself gripping too tightly to outcomes, remember that the universe's timing operates through harmony, not hurry. The ancient practice of peaceful desire. Find a quiet moment and settle into stillness. Bring your deepest desire into your awareness, holding it as you would hold a precious but delicate gift. Breathe deeply, and with each exhale, release any desperate need for immediate manifestation. Feel your desire transition from burning necessity to calm recognition. Let it rest in the certainty that it is already on its inevitable path to you. Maintain this practice until you sense your wanting transform into peaceful knowing. Remaining within word count as per instructions. Chapter 17. The Art of Detachment. In a small village by the sea, Betty wove her desires into nets of desperation, casting them out each morning only to draw them back empty. Her hands ached from gripping too tightly to dreams that seemed to slip away like mist. Each day she measured success against rigid expectations, until the weight of wanting bent her spirit like a reed in storm winds. When you grasp too firmly at what you seek, you create resistance in the very field meant to deliver it. The universe operates through elegant allowing, not force. Like water flowing to its natural level, manifestation seeks equilibrium between intention and release. The art of detachment stands as one of the most misunderstood principles in the science of attraction. Many mistake it for abandonment of dreams or resignation to fate. Yet true detachment is the wisdom of the gardener who plants seeds with care but does not hover anxiously waiting for sprouts. It is the freedom of knowing that what is meant for you cannot miss its mark. Vernon discovered this truth in the shadows of a failing relationship. For months he had tried to control every interaction, to shape love according to his vision, but the more he clutched, the more his beloved withdrew. It was only when he finally loosened his grip, allowing space for natural rhythms, that the relationship found its way back to harmony. His release became an invitation for love to return on its own terms. The law of attraction responds not to the intensity of wanting, but to the clarity of allowing. When you release the need to orchestrate every detail, you open channels for infinite intelligence to arrange circumstances beyond your imagining. This is not surrender of your dreams, but surrender of the belief that you must force them into being. Consider how a river flows around obstacles rather than fighting them. Your creative power grows stronger when you adopt this fluid approach to manifestation. Trust replaces tension. Patience becomes power. The still point between wanting and having transforms into a space of pure potential. Ancient practice of release. Find a quiet moment and cup your hands together as though holding water. Into this space, whisper your deepest desire. Feel its energy, its essence. Now, slowly open your hands as though releasing a dove to flight. Watch in your mind's eye as your desire rises freely into the infinite field of possibility. Breathe deeply into the space of trust this creates. Practice this release daily, knowing that what is truly yours will circle back like light finding its source. Chapter 18. The Circle of Compassion. In a distant village, Frances watched through her window as merchants prospered while her small shop struggled. Each morning she counted their customers, measured their success against her lack, and felt the bitter taste of judgment coat her tongue. Yet unknown to her, these very thoughts wove a web of resistance around her door, turning away the abundance that sought to enter. The universe speaks in the language of energy, and judgment carries a frequency that rebounds upon its sender. When you look upon another's fortune with eyes of criticism, you declare to the infinite field that abundance itself is suspect. Your gaze becomes a barrier, not to their prosperity, but to your own. The law of attraction responds not to your words, but to your deepest vibration. Each time you perceive lack in others or measure their worthiness, you unknowingly affirm separation from the very flow you seek to enter. The secret lies in understanding that all prosperity springs from one source, like countless waves rising from the same ocean. To judge another's wave is to deny the ocean's nature. Consider how a flower never withholds its fragrance from those passing by, nor does the sun discriminate where its warmth falls. These elemental teachers demonstrate that giving enriches both the source and recipient, expanding the field of possibility for all. Otis, a humble craftsman, discovered this truth when his childhood friend opened a competing workshop across the street. Initially, resentment crept into his heart like frost. But one morning, watching his friend struggle with a difficult commission, Otis made a choice that altered both their destinies. Instead of relishing his competitor's challenge, he anonymously shared a technique he had perfected years ago. Within days, an unexpected order arrived at Otis's door, larger than any he had received before. His friend's work also flourished, and soon their street became known as a destination for fine craftsmanship, drawing customers enough for both to thrive. The simple act of releasing judgment had opened a channel through which abundance could flow freely. Ancient wisdom teaches that what you offer to others, you offer to yourself. Every blessing sent outward returns multiplied, for giving and receiving are but different expressions of the same cosmic dance. To unlock this principle in your own life, seek opportunities for secret kindness. Let your heart become a vessel of blessing rather than judgment. Watch how this shift in frequency transforms not only your relationship with abundance, but the very fabric of your reality. Sacred practice. Choose someone who has triggered feelings of comparison or judgment. In the privacy of your heart, send them a sincere blessing. Visualize their success expanding alongside your own, like two flowers opening under the same sun. Then, perform one anonymous act of kindness for another today. Do not wait for recognition or return. Simply release your gift into the universe and trust in the infinite cycle of giving and receiving. Chapter 19. The Temple of Body and Spirit. In the mountains of a distant land, Lillian sat cross-legged for hours beneath harsh sun and biting wind. Her limbs ached, yet she pushed through, believing spiritual mastery meant transcending physical discomfort. Day after day, she ignored her body's whispered pleas for rest, movement, and nourishment. Soon, the very insights she sought became clouded, like stars obscured by gathering storm clouds. The universe speaks first through the vessel of flesh and bone you inhabit. Your body is not a cage to escape, but a sacred instrument through which cosmic frequencies play their song. When you honor its wisdom, you tune the entire orchestra of manifestation. The physical form serves as the primary antenna for universal energy. Each cell vibrates in harmony with divine intelligence, ready to receive and translate the subtle messages that guide your path. Yet this reception requires maintenance of the instrument itself. Just as a radio cannot transmit clearly through damaged circuits, your ability to perceive and manifest becomes distorted when your body's signals are ignored. Arnold, a painter in a seaside village, discovered this truth through movement. Each evening, as the sun painted the horizon, he would dance freely on the shore. No steps were planned, no rhythm prescribed. He simply allowed his body to flow with its own innate wisdom. Soon his artwork transformed. Colors became more vivid, forms more fluid, inspiration more abundant. His paintings began to sell effortlessly, though he never created them for profit. By honoring his body's desire to move, he had unknowingly aligned his entire being with the creative force of the universe. The physical and the spiritual are not separate realms but different octaves of the same divine song. Your body is the bridge between thought and manifestation, the sacred ground where heaven meets earth. When you treat it with reverence, it becomes a powerful ally in creation. Physical sensations are messages in the language of the universe. Tension signals misalignment. Ease indicates flow. Vitality confirms right action. By listening to these messages, you fine-tune your ability to receive all that you seek. The ancient practice of sacred movement. Find a quiet space where you can move freely. Close your eyes and place your hands over your heart. Breathe deeply, allowing each breath to awaken awareness of your physical form. Now, without judgment or plan, let your body begin to move as it wishes. It might be a gentle sway, a stretch, or a dance. Trust whatever emerges. As you move, silently acknowledge, I honor this temple of divine creation. Through this sacred form, I receive all abundance. Continue for several minutes until you feel complete. This practice aligns body and spirit, enhancing your receptivity to universal forces. Remember, your body is not merely a vehicle for your spirit, but a holy sanctuary where miracles take form. Treat it with loving attention and watch as your manifesting power magnifies through the perfect instrument you already possess. Chapter 20. The Flow of Communication. In the soft pre-dawn hours, Minnie sat at her window, eyes closed in meditation. For months she had pleaded with the universe, casting her wishes outward like stones into a void. Her prayers seemed to echo in emptiness, until the morning she noticed the persistent tapping of a branch against her window pane. In that gentle rhythm, she recognized a pattern that had been present all along. The universe speaks not in thunderous proclamation, but in whispered synchronicity. Its language flows through the body's knowing, through the quiet nudge of intuition, through the seemingly random alignment of events that feel too perfect to be coincidence. Minnie discovered that true listening requires the whole being, not just the mind seeking answers, but the heart recognizing resonance, the body sensing energy, the spirit attuned to subtle shifts in the field of possibility. Gordon walked this path of discovery in his own way. Doubt had been his constant companion, weighing heavy in his chest as he questioned whether his dreams held merit. Then came the feathers, soft white plumes appearing in unlikely places. One drifted through his office window on a windless day. Another lay perfectly centered on his doorstep each morning for a week. A third floated down to rest on his open journal as he wrote about his uncertainties. At first, he dismissed these as mere coincidence, but their persistence and precise timing could not be ignored. Each feather arrived at moments when his faith wavered, as if the universe was saying, I hear you, I see you, keep going. These weren't random occurrences, but responses in an ongoing dialogue. The cosmos engages in constant conversation with those willing to listen. It speaks through the quickening of your pulse when opportunity draws near, through the peaceful settling in your stomach when decisions align with truth, through the synchronicities that appear like breadcrumbs along your path. Ancient practice of sacred dialogue. Find a quiet moment each day to attune yourself to the universe's subtle language. Notice the recurring symbols that appear in your field of awareness, perhaps a certain number sequence, animal sightings, or natural elements that show up precisely when needed. Acknowledge these signs with gratitude, understanding that each one forms part of an intimate conversation between you and the infinite. Stay alert for these gentle winks from existence and nod back in recognition, knowing you are heard, supported, and guided in every moment. Part 3. The Creation Current. Chapter 21. The Architecture of Intuition. On a still autumn morning, Edith sat at her desk, numbers and projections spread before her like fallen leaves. A gentle whisper urged her to take her work to the park, but she dismissed it, believing productivity required 4 walls and fluorescent lights. The universe speaks in subtle frequencies, through hunches, through quiet knowings that arrive without fanfare. Yet too often, The analytical mind drowns these messages in a sea of should and must. The language of creation flows through channels far deeper than logic. Like water finding its path through stone, intuitive guidance seeps through the cracks of ordinary thought. When you silence the constant chatter of reasoning, you begin to sense the ancient dialogue that has always surrounded you. Willis understood this truth one unremarkable Tuesday when something inside urged him to change his delivery route. His mind argued. The usual path was efficient, tested, safe. But that morning, he chose to honor the whisper. On the new route, he encountered 3 clients who would transform his small courier service into a thriving enterprise. The universe had orchestrated a symphony of synchronicity, using his intuition as the conductor's baton. Your inner knowing is not random. It is the universe's GPS system guiding you toward expansion. Each gut feeling carries coded instructions from the field of infinite possibilities. When doubt arises, remember that logic processes what was, while intuition receives what could be. The signs appear constantly, a book falling open to exactly the page you need, a song lyric that answers your unspoken question, a chance encounter that shifts your trajectory. These are not coincidences but conversations. The universe speaks through symbols, through resonance, through the quiet voice that says, "Turn here," or "Wait a moment longer." Feel how different it is when you act from intuitive knowing rather than calculated planning. Notice how doors open with surprising ease when you follow that first flash of inner guidance. The universe delights in communicating through the language of synchronicity, but you must learn to trust the whispers before they become shouts. Ancient practice. When next you feel that subtle nudge, that quiet knowing, act upon it immediately. Do not wait for logic to approve or doubt to dissolve. Move with the momentum of that first intuitive pulse, for in that instant lies the purest connection to universal intelligence. Simply note the guidance and follow, allowing the wisdom of your inner compass to lead the way. Chapter 22. The Dance of Synchronicity. In the light of dawn, a merchant named Nancy noticed the numbers 1111 glowing from her bedside clock. Later that morning, her coffee order came to $11.11. As evening approached, she passed house number 1111. These synchronized numbers beckoned like gentle taps on her spiritual shoulder. Yet at first, she dismissed them as mere coincidence. The universe speaks through patterns woven into the fabric of everyday life. These whispers of synchronicity serve as confirmation that you walk in harmony with your highest path. Each repeated number, each meaningful coincidence, acts as a celestial signal, a cosmic nod that your frequency aligns with universal flow. When you attune yourself to this subtle language, you begin to recognize that nothing occurs by chance. Every moment carries significance. Every pattern holds purpose. The universe orchestrates these divine appointments with mathematical precision, creating a symphony of meaningful encounters that guide your journey. A humble shopkeeper named Clarence understood this sacred dialogue. Each morning, he would notice certain customers arriving in clusters, specific items selling in patterns, or particular phrases repeated throughout his day. Rather than brush these aside, he learned to treat them as cosmic coordinates, adjusting his actions accordingly. When 3 separate people mentioned a new location for his shop, Clarence recognized the pattern. Instead of analyzing through logic alone, He allowed these synchronized suggestions to guide him. Following this trail of cosmic breadcrumbs led him to the perfect storefront at precisely the right moment, one that transformed his business. The teaching reveals that synchronicity serves as confirmation that you vibrate in harmony with your desires. These patterns appear as signposts, assuring you that manifestation unfolds according to divine timing. When you notice repeating numbers, recurring themes, or meaningful coincidences, you glimpse the invisible architecture of creation at work. These cosmic winks arrive not to amuse but to affirm. They indicate that the universe receives your frequency clearly and responds in kind. Each synchronicity strengthens your connection to source energy, building a bridge between intention and manifestation. The practice. Begin each day expecting to witness magic in ordinary patterns. When numbers repeat, when meaningful coincidences occur, pause to acknowledge them aloud. I recognize this divine sign and thank the universe for this confirmation. Feel gratitude for each cosmic wink, knowing it strengthens the rhythm of creation in your life. Let these synchronized moments remind you that the universe orchestrates all in perfect harmony with your highest good. Chapter 23. The Furnace of Contrast. In a small village nestled among ancient hills, there lived a woman named Olive who spent her days cursing the darkness that seemed to follow her path. Each setback felt like a personal slight from the universe, each challenge another stone in an already heavy burden. Her garden withered in drought, her business struggled, and her spirit dimmed with each passing moon. Yet within the depths of her despair, a truth stirred, one that would transform her understanding of life's essential rhythm. For just as shadow defines light, and silence gives meaning to sound, contrast shapes the contours of our deepest desires. The universe operates through the sacred dance of duality. Within every challenge lies the seed of greater understanding. Within every loss blooms the flower of deeper appreciation. This eternal law reveals that contrast serves not as punishment, but as the divine sculptor of clarity. When you encounter moments that seem to oppose your desires, know that you stand in the presence of a master teacher. These apparent obstacles are not barriers but bridges, each one carefully placed to sharpen your focus and purify your intention. Consider the diamond, formed only through immense pressure, or the lotus that rises through mud to reach sunlight. Your challenges are not random misfortunes, but precise instruments of transformation, each one calibrated to awaken specific strengths within you. A man named Leonard discovered this truth when his position at a prestigious firm suddenly dissolved. For 15 years, he had built his identity around that role, and its loss felt like a cruel twist of fate. Yet in the quiet space that followed, he began to hear the whispers of a long-forgotten dream, one of creating art that spoke to the soul. The very contrast of losing his security became the catalyst for embracing his authentic path. The wisdom of contrast teaches us that comfort rarely sparks evolution. It is in the spaces between what we have and what we desire that our creative power ignites. Each challenge arrives as a master teacher, offering precisely the lesson needed to elevate our vibration. When you find yourself in the depths of contrast, pause and recognize the sacred opportunity before you. Feel how this moment of opposition clarifies exactly what you wish to create. Let the pressure of circumstance reveal the diamond of your true desire. The ancient practice offered here transforms your relationship with contrast forever. Sacred practice. When discomfort visits, welcome it with these words, "Thank you, teacher." Feel how this simple acknowledgement shifts energy from resistance to receptivity. Watch as illumination replaces irritation, revealing the hidden gift within every challenge. Practice this especially in small daily moments, building your capacity to transmute contrast into clarity. Chapter 24. The Echo of Service. In a small village nestled among rolling hills, an artisan named Evelyn crafted intricate pottery pieces, each vessel a dream she hoped would bring success. Day after day she toiled alone in her workshop, focusing intensely on her goals, yet feeling something essential was missing from her creations. One morning, as dawn painted the sky in gentle hues, she noticed an elderly woman struggling to carry water from the well. Without thinking, Evelyn offered one of her finest water jugs as a gift. The woman's eyes lit up with such genuine appreciation that Evelyn felt a curious warmth spread through her chest, a sensation more fulfilling than any sale had ever brought. This simple act awakened Evelyn to a profound truth. The universe operates through circulation, not accumulation. When you give freely, you align with the natural flow of abundance itself. Your generosity creates ripples in the cosmic fabric, each wave returning multiplied in unexpected ways. This principle manifested clearly in the life of Floyd, a skilled carpenter who began offering free repairs to those in need. He fixed loose shutters for widows, mended broken fences for farmers, and restored old furniture for struggling families. With each selfless act, his own work flourished mysteriously. New clients appeared as if guided by an invisible hand, and opportunities unfolded with perfect timing. The law of attraction responds powerfully to the vibration of giving. When you serve others without expectation of return, you broadcast a frequency of abundance that echoes through the universe. This echo returns amplified, carrying gifts that often surpass your original intentions. Service acts as a magnetic force, attracting prosperity through channels you could never plan or predict. It operates by spiritual mathematics where giving multiplies rather than subtracts. Each act of generosity plants seeds in the fertile soil of universal consciousness. The key lies in the purity of intention. True service flows from the heart without calculation of reward. It is this very selflessness that activates the law of multiplication. When you give simply because giving brings joy, you align with the universe's natural tendency toward expansion. Ancient practice of generous spirit. Choose one day this week to perform an act of service that no one will know about. It might be leaving an anonymous gift, quietly completing someone else's task, or creating something beautiful for others to discover. As you give, focus entirely on the joy of giving rather than any potential return. Notice how your energy shifts in that moment of pure generosity. This alignment with universal flow opens channels through which abundance naturally flows. Chapter 25. The Portal of Imagination. In the ancient marketplace of Damascus, there lived a merchant named Reza, who spent his days counting coins while his heart yearned for adventure. Each night he would close his eyes and picture himself sailing distant seas, though he had never left his city. While others mocked his daydreams, something extraordinary began to unfold. The more vividly he imagined the salt air on his skin, the more his reality shifted to match his inner vision. Through this gateway of imagination, the universe speaks its most profound truths. Your mind's eye is not merely a projector of wishful thinking. It is the architect's table where reality's blueprints are first drawn. When you dare to imagine with the innocence of a child, yet the conviction of a sage, you activate the primary law of manifestation. That which can be clearly envisioned must eventually materialize. The power of creative visualization extends far beyond mere fantasy. It is the sacred language through which the infinite communicates with the finite. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, every miracle first existed as a single spark in someone's imagination. The universe does not distinguish between what you imagine and what you experience. It responds to the electrical impulses of thought, whether that thought springs from current circumstances or visualized possibilities. Consider the tale of Sophia, a humble weaver who imagined patterns so intricate they seemed impossible to create. Yet each night she would close her eyes and see her fingers dancing through impossible designs. She felt the texture of threads not yet woven, experienced the joy of completion before beginning. Within months, her loom began producing works of such beauty that people whispered they must have been crafted by angels. In truth, they were crafted first in the temple of her imagination. Your imagination is not an escape from reality. It is the workshop where reality is fashioned. The universe's first language is not words, but images paired with feeling. When you engage your creative vision with emotional intensity, you are not daydreaming. You are participating in the primary act of creation itself. A seed does not question its blueprint for becoming a tree. It holds within itself a perfect image of what it will become. You, too, carry within you the seeds of future realities, each waiting to be awakened through the power of focused imagination. Sacred practice. Find a quiet moment as the sun rises or sets. Close your eyes and allow your mind to become a blank canvas. Begin to paint upon it the reality you wish to create, adding detail by detail. Feel the emotions this new reality stirs within you. Taste it, touch it, hear it. Let your imagination roam free within this vision until it feels more real than your present circumstance. Hold this vision daily, knowing that through this gateway the universe has already begun its work of manifestation. Chapter 26. The Symmetry of Generosity. In a quiet village nestled among rolling hills, Libby tended her modest garden. Each morning she would gather the ripest vegetables, hesitating between keeping them all for herself or sharing with neighbors. One dawn, as sunlight painted golden stripes across her lettuce leaves, she felt an inner whisper urging her to give. At first, it seemed counterintuitive. How could giving away lead to more? Yet the universal law speaks clearly on this matter. Abundance flows not through accumulation, but through circulation. Like water that grows stagnant when dammed, prosperity withers when hoarded. The moment Libby began sharing her harvest, a remarkable transformation occurred. Her tomato plants produced twice their usual yield. Cucumber vines sprawled with unprecedented vigor. Even her struggling herb patch burst into aromatic abundance. The universe responded to her generosity by amplifying nature's bounty. This mirrors the tale of Howard, the village baker, who discovered this truth through his own experience. Each evening, rather than discarding unsold loaves, he distributed them freely among passing travelers. A curious pattern emerged. The more bread he gave away, the more customers appeared the following morning. His small bakery soon became known as a place where abundance dwelled, drawing people from distant towns. The law of attraction responds most powerfully to the energy of sharing. When you release your grip on what you have, you signal to the universe your trust in its infinite supply. This creates a vacuum that must be filled, for nature abhors emptiness. Your giving becomes the very catalyst that attracts more to you. Consider how a tree releases its fruit without reservation, and in doing so, ensures its seeds spread far and wide, creating entire orchards where once stood a single plant. This is the natural order of abundance. Through giving, we multiply. The ancient practice of circulation. Find something of value today, whether material or intangible, and share it freely without expectation of return. It might be food, knowledge, time, or simply a genuine smile. As you give, notice how your heart lightens, for in that lightness lies the secret of perpetual abundance. This practice is not about the size of the gift, but the spirit in which it is given. Feel the joy of becoming a channel through which universal abundance flows. Chapter 27. The Bridge of Forgiveness. In an ancient village there lived a merchant named Rose who carried the weight of past betrayals like heavy stones in her heart. Each morning she would count these grievances as though they were precious gems, polishing her anger until it gleamed with a dark light. Yet the more she held on to these wounds, the more her business faltered, as though her shop itself could sense the density of her thoughts. The universe speaks through the language of energy, and where resentment dwells, new blessings cannot enter. This truth echoes through the ages. Forgiveness is not merely a moral virtue, but a practical tool for transformation. When you release others from the prison of your judgment, you simultaneously free yourself from the role of keeper. Consider the merchant Nicholas, who once lost everything to a dishonest partner. For years, bitterness coursed through his veins like poison, until one moonlit night he took quill to parchment and wrote words of release. "I free you," he penned, "not because you deserve it, but because I choose peace." As the ink dried, something shifted in the fabric of his reality. Within days, new partnerships emerged. Opportunities blossomed like spring flowers after winter's thaw. This is the hidden law at work. Forgiveness creates space. It transforms the heavy metal of resentment into the pure gold of possibility. Each act of letting go sends ripples through the quantum field, rearranging the particles of potential around you. The universe cannot deliver fresh abundance through channels clogged with old hurts. Your thoughts are magnetic fields, constantly attracting corresponding experiences. When these thoughts carry the residue of past pain, they can only attract more situations that match that frequency. But in the moment of true forgiveness, your entire vibrational signature shifts. You become like a clear vessel, ready to receive the pure light of new beginnings. Ancient practice. Settle into a quiet space and place one hand over your heart. Begin by whispering words of forgiveness to yourself, acknowledging any self-judgment you've carried. Then expand this energy outward, releasing each person who has caused you pain, one by one. Feel the lightness spread through your body as each act of forgiveness dissolves another layer of resistance. Continue until peace flows through you like a gentle stream. Chapter 28. the garden of momentum. In the heart of an ancient village, a young woman named Annie observed the daily rituals of an elderly weaver. Each morning, without fail, the artisan would thread her loom with the same graceful movements, her weathered hands dancing through familiar patterns. What seemed like mere routine was actually a sacred dance with the universe's own rhythm. Creation follows the law of compound effect. Just as water shapes stone not through force but through faithful presence, your consistent actions shape the fabric of reality. Each small deed repeated with conviction becomes a thread in the tapestry of manifestation. The universe responds not to sporadic bursts of intention but to the steady pulse of practiced belief. When you align your daily actions with your desires, you establish a vibrational current that grows stronger with each repetition. Like a musician who practices until melody becomes muscle memory, your consistent choices create an energetic signature that the universe recognizes and mirrors back to you. Annie discovered this truth when she began tending a small garden. Each morning she would water her plants while holding gratitude in her heart. As weeks passed, not only did her garden flourish beyond expectation, but abundance began blooming in every area of her life. Her simple ritual had become a bridge between intention and manifestation. In another part of the village lived Chester, an elder who defied conventional limitations. Every dawn, regardless of weather, he would jog through the winding streets. His neighbors whispered that he moved with the vitality of someone half his age. Chester understood that physical movement coupled with unwavering belief creates a powerful alchemy. Each step was both a declaration and an invitation to the universe, an affirmation of vitality that grew stronger with every sunrise. The law works through repetition, because repetition is the language of belief. When you persist in any practice that aligns with your desired reality, you're not merely going through motions, you're conducting energy. Every consistent action tells the universe, "This is who I am becoming." The universe responds by rearranging circumstances to match your commitment. Visualization without consistent action is like planting seeds without watering them. The power lies in the blend of both, inner vision supported by outer dedication. This is how potential transforms into permanent reality. In the field behind his home, a shepherd named Thomas practiced this principle with remarkable results. Every evening, he would walk his flock while singing songs of prosperity. His voice carried both melody and unwavering faith. Within months, his small flock had tripled, and neighboring shepherds sought his counsel, unaware that his success sprouted from the seeds of daily devotion. The sacred practice. Choose one action that resonates with your deepest desires. Perhaps it's morning meditation, mindful walking, or creating art. Commit to this practice daily, infusing each repetition with joy and certainty. Let it become as natural as breathing. Watch how this consistent rhythm creates a magnetic field that attracts corresponding circumstances. Your persistent practice becomes the bridge between where you are and where you wish to be. Chapter 29. The Light Beyond Fear. In the heart of an ancient marketplace, Pearl sat among her unsold wares, precious gems and intricate tapestries gathering dust. Though merchants and travelers passed by daily, admiring her treasures, she clutched them close, paralyzed by the thought of being left with nothing. Each potential sale became a battle between desire and dread, until her shop became known as the place where beauty remained forever untouched. Within the infinite wisdom of the universe lies this truth. Fear is but a shadow cast by false beliefs, a mist that appears substantial yet holds no true form. When you reach through it, your hand meets only air. The power of fear exists solely in the meaning you grant it, for the universe knows no limitation, only eternal expansion. Like a dark curtain drawn across a sunlit window, fear obscures but never diminishes the radiance beyond. It whispers stories of scarcity into your ear, yet abundance continues its eternal flow, waiting patiently for you to release your grip on these illusions. Every moment you choose love over fear, another veil lifts from your eyes. Dennis, a skilled artisan, once trembled at the thought of sharing his creations with the world. His workshop overflowed with masterpieces seen by no one, each piece a testament to both his talent and his terror. Yet one morning he chose to greet his fear as an old companion rather than an enemy. "You've protected me," he whispered to his anxiety, "but now I choose to create without you." With each piece he released into the world, his fear softened like ice beneath spring sunshine. Soon his works graced galleries across distant lands, each sale bringing not loss but greater inspiration. His abundance multiplied precisely because he allowed it to flow outward, understanding that the universe replenishes infinitely what is freely given. The timeless practice. When fear appears at your threshold, welcome it as you would an old friend who no longer needs to stay. Feel its familiar weight, then watch it dissolve in the light of your awareness. Stand in the certainty that you are infinite potential, wearing temporary concerns. With each breath, let your energy expand beyond fear's imagined boundaries until you remember your true nature, a boundless being temporarily experiencing limitation. In this remembrance, fear becomes simply another experience passing through the vast sky of your consciousness, leaving you unchanged in your eternal radiance. Chapter 30. The Signature of You. On a quiet morning in the heart of the valley, a young painter named Hazel sat before her canvas, brushes trembling in her grip. Like so many before her, she had studied the masters, trying to replicate their techniques, believing success meant perfect imitation. Yet each stroke felt hollow. Each color seemed to mock her efforts. The universe waited patiently, knowing the truth she had yet to discover. The core teaching emerges like sunlight through morning mist. Authentic expression stands as the purest form of alignment with universal law. When you release the need to mirror others' paths, your unique vibration rises unimpeded, calling forth circumstances that match its singular frequency. This truth echoes through ages. The universe responds not to borrowed light, but to the distinct radiance that only you can emit. Your originality is not a flaw to be corrected, but a force to be unleashed. Every quirk, every peculiarity, every aspect that makes you distinctly you serves as a magnetic signature, drawing corresponding experiences into your reality. Like a fingerprint in the cosmic ledger, your authentic self carries a vibration that cannot be duplicated or replaced. This wisdom found its reflection in Calvin, a painter who spent years hiding his unconventional artistic vision. His canvases remained safe, acceptable, and utterly forgettable. Then one day, watching children play with wild abandon, he witnessed the power of uninhibited expression. That evening, He finally dared to paint the strange, luminous landscapes that had always danced in his mind. His work, once released into the world, created an immediate resonance. Galleries that had ignored him now sought him out, drawn not by technique, but by the unmistakable authenticity vibrating from each piece. His genuine frequency could no longer be ignored. The universe operates through attraction, but it cannot attract what you refuse to express. Hidden light casts no beam, and buried truth plants no seed. When you stand fully in your authentic expression, you become a beacon for aligned opportunities, relationships, and circumstances. The law of attraction responds most powerfully to genuine vibration, for in authenticity lies the purest form of creative force. Ancient practice of true expression. Find a quiet moment today to express yourself in any form that calls to your heart. Whether through art, movement, words, or silent contemplation, let your true essence flow without judgment or restraint. Trust that the universe celebrates the unique sound of your authentic voice, and know that in this pure expression you activate the most powerful attracting force available to you, the force of being genuinely, unabashedly yourself. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. In the eternal dance between consciousness and creation, a profound truth emerges. You are not separate from the universe, but are its living expression. Through these pages, ancient wisdom has stirred within you, awakening what was never truly dormant, but merely waiting for recognition. The power to shape reality was never something to acquire. It has always been the essence of who you are. From the first whispers of awakening through the bridges of alignment to the currents of conscious creation, each teaching has guided you back to your original nature as a creator. The journey was not about learning, but remembering. Not about becoming, but unveiling. Now you stand at the threshold of infinite possibility, understanding that manifestation flows not from what you do, but from who you are, your authentic frequency, your unique vibrational signature, is the very language the universe speaks. When you align with this truth, reality shapes itself around your natural resonance. The Codex is not merely a collection of teachings, but a mirror reflecting your inherent creative force. Its power lies not in its words, but in your recognition of them as echoes of your own inner knowing. As you close these pages, know that the real journey continues with every breath, every thought, and every moment of conscious presence. You need no longer search for signs or wait for permission. The time of seeking ends where the age of knowing begins. Your next breath carries the power to reshape worlds, not because you learned it here, but because you finally remembered what you have always been, a conscious creator in an infinitely responsive universe. Let this be your moment of reclamation, where waiting transforms into being and seeking dissolves into knowing. The universe is not responding to your call. It is responding to your song.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.